Who chooses to remain quiet when everyone else is demanding answers? And why does silence sometimes speak more powerfully than words ever could? Something changed between Bill Gaither and Lynda Randle, and fans who had followed them closely could feel it. The shared smiles, the harmony, the moments on stage, they started to disappear. People noticed the shift, but no one addressed it openly. Now, Bill Gaither has finally spoken out about Lynda Randle, and what he revealed has left some in shock and others deeply touched. The story runs deeper than anyone expected, and the truth has now come forward. Keep watching to discover what really took place. From the start, there was a unique and heartfelt connection between Bill Gaither and Lynda Randle. Their friendship didn't happen instantly. It grew over time through music, tours, and quiet moments on and off the stage. Whenever they stood together in front of a crowd, something gentle yet powerful occurred. Their voices blended so naturally that it felt as if they were destined to sing together. But it wasn't just about the music. Behind the songs was something much more meaningful. People could sense the mutual respect, trust, and almost familial bond between the two. As time passed, audiences started to notice more than just the harmonies. They picked up on the way Bill and Lynda exchanged glances while singing. Looks that carried the weight of long-standing friendship. Smiles said what words couldn't. There were private jokes, warm laughter, and a deep understanding that didn't need to be explained. Their stage presence had a cozy, genuine feel, as if you were watching two dear friends, simply enjoying each other's company. That warmth reached the audience, made them feel included in something special, something comforting. Lynda wasn't just another singer. She poured her heart into every song with soulful vocals and a joyful spirit that lit up the room. Performances lifted even the heaviest hearts. Fans loved her not just for her voice, but for her genuine kindness and grace. Bill often described her as a bright light in the Gaither family, someone who made everything better by simply being there. And Lynda always expressed deep gratitude for Bill's influence in her life, both personally and professionally. Their mutual appreciation stood out, made their friendship feel sincere and rare. Fans cherished this connection and believed it would never change. In a world where relationships are often tested by pressure and time, Bill and Lynda's bond appeared rock solid. It became something audiences could count on. Every Gaither event felt like more than a concert, it felt like a homecoming. Its familiar faces, beloved songs, and the visible friendship between Bill and Lynda all added to that comforting sense of belonging, looking back at their shared journey. People didn't just remember the music, they remembered how Bill and Lynda consistently treated each other with kindness and loyalty. Their story proved that strong connections don't always come from big, dramatic moments. Sometimes the deepest friendships are built through quiet support and simply showing up for each other. When they sang together, their voices didn't just create harmony, they painted a picture of unity. Their friendship wasn't about being flawless, it was about being present. It was about sharing joy, carrying burdens, and walking side by side. Bill and Lynda showed the world that family isn't always about blood, it's about love, shared experiences, and an unspoken promise to never leave. But after many joyful years together, something began to feel different. Gradually, fans began to notice that Lynda Randle wasn't appearing at every Gaither event anymore. Her absence wasn't explained, which led to soft whispers and quiet concerns. Longtime followers of their journey began to wonder what had changed. Instead of ignoring those questions or letting rumors grow, Bill Gaither made a heartfelt choice. He decided to speak out. His intention wasn't to grab attention or make headlines. He simply wanted to share the truth in a respectful, gentle way. In today's world, where public figures often reveal everything about their lives, especially the difficult parts, Bill and Lynda chose a different path. Their decision to remain private didn't come from secrecy, but from a belief that some moments are too personal to share with the world. They showed that real loyalty often happens away from cameras and crowds. Supporting someone doesn't always mean making bold declarations. Sometimes it means being quietly present, loving someone without the need for validation. When Bill Gaither finally addressed Lynda Randle's absence, his words reflected the depth of their friendship. He explained that Lynda had been facing personal challenges and needed to take time away. There was no conflict or drama, just or real-life circumstances that called for rest and healing. He made it clear that their separation wasn't a sign of a broken bond, but a gesture of respect for what each person was going through. Sometimes true love is shown by giving someone space without demanding explanations. As Bill shared these thoughts, it became obvious how much he cared about Lynda. His words were calm but meaningful. He showed that genuine love and loyalty don't need to be loud. They're often expressed through patience and quiet support during tough times. Lynda's connection to the Gaither family hadn't ended. It had simply gone silent for a while. To allow her the time she needed, their friendship was always about more than the music. It was built on trust, shared history, and a deep commitment to one another. The way they stood by each other during difficult times revealed just how strong their bond was. Their voices blended beautifully on stage, but the real beauty was in how they cared for one another when no one else was watching. That quiet strength served as a powerful example of what real friendship looks like. Looking at their relationship now, it's clear that true friendship isn't about constant appearances or public praise. It's about how do people remain connected through both good times and hard ones. Some struggles are visible, while others go unseen, but a solid friendship endures through them all. That's exactly what happened with Bill and Lynda. Their connection didn't fade just because they weren't singing side by side. It quietly endured behind the scenes. When Bill finally shared the reason for Lynda's absence, it wasn't to stir emotion, it came from a place of deep care. He reminded everyone that their friendship was never about fame. It was about standing together, especially when life got tough. His honesty gave fans a chance to see the people behind the performances. He reminded them that the strongest support often happens quietly. It's not always loud or showy, but it's powerful just the same. For those who had followed Bill and Lynda's story for years, his openness brought comfort. Many had wondered why she hadn't been on stage. Now, they could understand that her time away wasn't due to conflict. It was simply life, with its ups and downs, and the need for healing. That understanding helped ease the concerns of longtime fans. After Bill spoke, the response was immediate. Fans filled social media with warm messages of love and encouragement. People weren't just saying they missed Lynda's voice. They were expressing heartfelt appreciation for the bond that had touched their lives. People admired her for the strength she showed and how she quietly handled difficult times. Her absence wasn't seen as a sign of weakness. In fact, many saw it as a powerful act of self-care. Both she and Bill were praised for the grace and understanding they showed throughout it all. As time passed, memories of their past performances became even more meaningful. Fans began to think back on those special moments when Bill and Lynda stood side by side, singing, smiling, and lifting spirits together. Those times weren't just about music, they were about the deep trust that had formed between them over the years. Looking back now, their harmonies and shared smiles seemed to tell an even greater story. They reflected a friendship that had weathered both joyful times and hard ones. Then came a message from Lynda herself, one that touched everyone's hearts. She didn't speak with sadness, but with gratitude. She thanked Bill and the whole Gaither family for supporting her during her time away. She shared that sometimes people need to step back not because they've stopped loving, but because that love needs to be protected. Her words were full of appreciation and showed just how much the support had meant to her, even though she hadn't been around as much. Lynda made it clear her heart never left. Her bond with the Gaither family stayed strong. Her love for them hadn't faded. If anything, it had grown deeper. Everything she said reflected what Bill had expressed before. It proved that silence, when filled with love and respect, can say more than words. When the spotlight dims and the stage quiets, what truly remains is the connection between people. That connection between Bill Gaither and Lynda Randle was one of those rare, lasting friendships that didn't need attention to show its strength. Their journey was never about drama or confusion. It was shaped by quiet loyalty and deep trust. There were no dramatic announcements, just care that stayed steady even during difficult times. The relationship wasn't defined by how often. They shared a stage. It was proven in the moments of stillness. Together, Bill and Lynda showed that real relationships aren't measured by applause or public appearances. They're built through small, quiet actions, like checking in when no one else knows something's wrong. Their story reminds us that true love and friendship don't need to be loud to be real. The most meaningful bonds often grow far from the spotlight. Their friendship grew slowly, deeply, and honestly. It was built on shared values and mutual understanding. It wasn't for show. It was rooted in kindness, patience, and a decision to stick together through life's changes. What made their bond so powerful wasn't just the music they shared, but how they stood by each other when the music stopped. Bill and Lynda lived out a quiet kind of devotion, one that didn't ask for recognition. It just remained. That quiet strength became something fans loved most about them. Their story became more than a working partnership. It became a silent promise kept through the years. As time went on, fans began noticing small changes. There wasn't a sudden shift, but those who followed closely could tell Lynda wasn't around as much. She missed some tours. Her voice, once familiar in new songs and live shows, wasn't heard as often. These changes came slowly, gently, but they sparked quiet concern. Behind those soft changes was a growing mystery. No one spoke directly about it. There were no public statements or clear explanations, but the silence was heavy. Longtime fans started to wonder. Some believed it was a personal decision. Others feared it might be something more serious, like health issues or family matters. The silence said more than words ever could. At the same time, the gospel community thrives on closeness and shared moments. That's why Lynda's quiet absence stood out so much. People began to quietly speculate. Even without clear answers, they felt something had changed. But Bill and Lynda chose not to explain. Their silence wasn't about hiding anything. It was about respect. They both stayed, focused on their own journeys, avoiding the noise that often follows public lives. Then, finally came the moment that offered clarity. It happened in the most gentle, heartfelt way. Bill Gaither stood before an audience filled with longtime supporters and gospel fans. This wasn't just any event. It was a celebration of music, memories, and joy. But what made it truly special was what Bill decided to share. He stood quietly for a moment, took a deep breath, and spoke from deep within. In that still moment, his voice carried the calm of experience. He wasn't angry or sad, just sincere. His face showed peace and a quiet pain. He told the audience there was something on his heart that he had wanted to share for a long time. As he spoke, the room grew still. Everyone could feel the weight of the moment, like even the air had paused to listen. He didn't offer a dramatic tale. Instead, he shared something far more honest. He explained that Lynda's absence hadn't been due to conflict. There were no fights or broken friendships. Life had simply asked more of her. She had gone through personal struggles, deeply private ones, times she had to focus on her health, at others, family responsibilities took her full attention. And sometimes, she just needed time to rest and reflect. These things all happened quietly behind the scenes. Bill explained that the Gaither family had always stood by her. Their support wasn't loud or on display, it was shown through quiet love and silent care. Even when fans couldn't see it, their bond remained. There was no drama, only understanding and a shared choice to protect her journey instead of explaining it to the world. One part of his message stood out. Bill said the kindest thing you can do for someone is to give them the freedom to be silent. That truth struck a chord. Not all friendships need explanation. Some are held together by quiet love that asks for nothing in return. He wanted people to understand. The bond he shared with Lynda hadn't gone away. As his words settled in, many in the audience were moved. 2 tears. Some wiped their eyes gently, touched by the grace in his message. Others nodded with quiet understanding, thankful for the honesty and heart behind it, as word of Bill's message spread. Old memories came flooding back to longtime fans. People who had followed Bill Gaither and Lynda Randle for years found themselves remembering those moments all over again. Videos of their duets began appearing again online. These clips showed more than just music. They captured laughter, unspoken, understanding, and a connection that had grown strong over time. In one performance, Lynda's gentle voice blended beautifully with Bill's steady tone. The sound felt like a quiet prayer, filled with peace and gratitude. In another clip, they simply smiled at each other. One look said more than words ever could. It told a story of deep trust and years of shared experience. Through fresh eyes, these performances became more than just concerts. They became experiences. They were reminders of a friendship that had stood firm through challenges, quietly. People began to view those moments with greater warmth and understanding. Every memory, every note felt richer. The bond between Bill and Lynda had faced hardships the public never knew about. Yet, it stayed strong through it all. Soon after Bill opened his heart, Lynda Randle shared a heartfelt message of her own. Her words came from a place of quiet strength and deep thankfulness. She didn't speak with sadness. Instead, she showed appreciation. She thanked Bill and the entire Gaither family for being there during her most difficult times. She explained that stepping away had not meant the love was gone. Sometimes, she said, healing requires distance. Stepping back is not a sign of weakness. It is a way to protect what matters most. She also spoke with warmth about Bill. She described him as more than a colleague. To her, he had always been a dear friend and a trusted companion in faith. Even though her presence on stage had become rare, she reminded her supporters that her heart never left the Gaither family. Her words carried peace, not regret, and they added another layer of beauty to a story that had already touched so many in the end. There was no shocking news or drama to uncover. What Bill shared that day was not a secret filled with trouble. It was a gentle truth about loyalty, one that stays steady even when life becomes quiet. It was also a lesson in grace, the kind that allows people to face their struggles without fear of being judged. And it was a message about love, the quiet kind that stays close even when no one else sees it. The story of Bill and Lynda continues to be a gentle reminder. True friendship does not need constant attention. It is measured in how people care for one another when no one is watching, grows stronger in silence, through patience and respect. Their journey showed that the strongest bonds are not always the loudest. Some are built quietly, protected by understanding, and held together by love that does not fade. Some stories are not meant to shout, they whisper. And in those whispers, they leave the deepest mark. When the spotlight fades and the stage is empty, who in your life still stands beside you? Let us know in the comments below. If this story made you pause, reflect, or feel something real, give this video a thumbs up so it can reach more hearts. And if you want to hear more stories that hold meaning, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay connected.